and welcome to Yin Yoga. Today, our focus is all about our hips and our hearts. We've chosen this today because both of these are seats where we store emotion. As you know, our hearts, there's a lot of emphasis on our hearts in yoga, with yoga philosophy showing that heart opening postures can affect our mental, our physical, our spiritual, and our emotional health. And some say that if you improve your posture, then your attitude will improve as well, be that towards yourself or others. With our hips, spiritually, they're a storage place for negativity and pent up emotions. And hip openers let us create space in our body and also help us create space for being creativity, for new ideas, giving us, again, freedom with the mind, body, and spirit. So we're going to be really focusing on opening up these areas today. As I say in all of my classes, with yin, we need to feel an edge. So, or here's me again, enough to feel a sensation, but not so much so that we are in pain. There's a very fine line between discomfort and pain, and we need to kind of be aware of that with our bodies. So you will be feeling some sensations because it's yin and that's what we're all about. If anything does get painful, please come out of the pose a little bit or choose to rest in child's pose. So there we go, Mia. Our sankalpa for today is I choose to feel good about myself every day. I choose to feel good about myself every day. And by being here, doing our yin yoga, we are having a little bit of me time, which should hopefully help you to feel good about yourself. So starting, focusing on our breathing, we can either be sitting in a half lotus position like I am, or sitting cross-legged, or just finding a position that feels good for you. I like to sit on a cushion to raise me up a little bit. That feels good for me. I'm just taking a deep breath through the nose, first of all, and out through the mouth, just sighing away any pent-up tension and negative emotions. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth, sighing it away. And we're going to move into our ujjayi breath now, our ocean breath, our sounding breath. So we're going to breathe now with our mouths closed if we can, and bring the tongue up to the roof of the mouth. And as we do this, as we breathe deeply and exhale fully, we'll notice that the breath becomes a sound like this. And as you find the rhythm of your ujjayi breath, you may find that you feel comfortable in closing your eyes, or they may already be closed. And as you hear that beautiful ocean breath, imagine in your mind's eye the waves lapping up onto the shore of the ocean and gently receding out again, coming up onto the beach and receding out again. And as we continue with this breath, returning again to our sankalpa, I choose to feel good about myself every day. I choose to feel good about myself every day. I choose to feel good about myself every day. Slowly allow the breath to return to normal. As we prepare for our first pose, we're going to be taking a child's pose. So removing any cushions. if you're sitting on one, and come into our mat. Now we've got a few different ways of doing our child's pose, and just take the one which feels best for you. We can have the knees together and fold forwards, extending the arm out. If you want to, you may have a cushion for your head. I really like a heart-shaped cushion. Yes, it's cute, but also the different orientations of it can be really good. So I like to place my head on this one and extend my arms out. You may want to have the arms down the sides of the body, or you could take the knees a little wider and thread the hands through. So just finding whichever child's pose feels good for you and settling into that position. So this pose is a beautifully cocooning pose. We feel safe and secure in this pose. The perfect pose for giving ourselves a little self-love. Returning again to that Sankalpa. I choose to feel good about myself every day. So from wherever we are in child's pose, pushing ourselves up into a seated position, and we're going to come to sit on our bottoms. Again, we can use a cushion or a block under our bottoms if we'd like to. We've got Lucy joining us now. She does love a bit of Yin Yoga, does Lucy. And we're going to bring our legs wide into dragonfly pose. Now, as I say, I like to sit on a block. I find it helps with our position, but you may prefer to be flat to the floor with your bottom. So remember, we've got that ribbon that pulls us up, and we're going to raise our arms and left arm to left foot And the right hand comes up and over as well into our lateral dragonfly stretch. We can hold our shins or our ankles or onto our feet, wherever feels good for us. So this is the first of our hip opening positions that we're going to be holding today. And in a hip opening position, it does bring release to areas where we may be feeling tightness. Quite often we do suffer from tightness within our hips. And because there are over 20 muscles that work together in our hip area, there's a lot going on there. We've got our adductors on our inner thighs, our abductors on the outer thighs, we've got our hip flexors, lateral rotators, we've got all sorts going on there. So it's important that these muscles have a really good stretch, and any movement that stretches these muscles either by themselves or together as a unit can be classed as a hip opener. And this is one of the poses that give us much deeper relief. So planting our hands on the floor and slowly walking ourselves up into a seated position, bringing our legs together, feet to the floor, hands behind us, as we just windscreen wiper from side to side, looking over the opposite shoulder if that's available. Noticing any sensations as we bring our hips back together. So we're going to bring ourselves back up into our dragonfly pose, and we need to do our lateral stretch in the opposite direction. Sitting up beautifully tall, raising the arms above the head, rotating the body and folding forwards to the opposite leg. Now our right leg this time, allowing gravity to just do the work for us, folding forwards. Hands can be on the shins, the ankles, around the foot, or resting on the floor, wherever feels good for you. As we're here, maybe returning to that ujjayi breath, our sounding breath. Just sending that breath into any areas of tension. Again, planting the hands on the floor, very slowly walking yourself back up to center and planting our feet on the floor, ready to windscreen wiper from one side to the other. Again, noticing any sensations you may be feeling. My hamstrings are quite tight at the moment, so it felt good for my hamstrings. I'm going to remove my block from under myself now, my cushion, and we're going to come into a caterpillar now. So sitting up tall, just removing any extra flesh from under the bottom, and we're going to simply allow ourselves to fold forward. Now, as we're here, you may wish to have a rolled blanket under your knees. You may wish to have a bolster on your lap that helps you just fold forward gently, or you may wish to allow gravity to take you to fold forward. So find your caterpillar, find what feels good for you, and settle into this lovely, relaxing pose. And as we're here in this pose, we're going to return to our Sankalpa. I choose to feel good about myself every day. So maybe repeating that with the breath. I choose to feel good about myself every day. I choose to feel good about myself every day. I choose to feel good about myself every day. Bringing the hands to the floor, and again, slowly walking ourselves up into an upright position, noticing if there's any release in our hip flexors that we're working in that pose. I'm going to come over onto all fours, and our counter pose for caterpillar today is going to be cat's breath. So similar to our hatha yoga cat-cow, and then we're going to tilt the pelvis away from us very slowly. The tummy comes down towards the floor, the shoulders round, and we bring our head up, looking in front of us, curling the pelvis under, shoulders round, putting that dot of paint on the ceiling, chin to the chest. Moving one vertebra at a time, tailbone comes out behind us. Tummy comes down to the floor, opening up through the shoulders, through the back of the heart, looking forward with the head, rounding the tailbone under again. Last thing to move is our head, our neck, protecting our cervical spine. And then releasing back into tabletop. And we're going to make our way down, back into a seated position. So our next yin pose that we're going to hold is a very, very typical hip opener. We're going to come into butterfly. If you want to, you can have a block or a brick underneath your bottom. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Now already we can feel the hips opening. I'm a little tighter there today. If you want to, you can have a block under each knee just to support them, or you may wish to go without. Bringing yourself up into a tall position and allowing gravity to just help you fold forwards. With the palms facing up, we're not going to force anything. You may want the feet a little further away from you if it's too intense, or if you'd like more of a stretch, bring the feet closer in towards you. So with tight hips, it can affect lots of things. And one of the things that we're concerned about as yoginis is the ability to get into our yoga positions, our asanas. But it can also affect our day-to-day lives as well. We may find it hard bending down to pick things up. You may experience pain when you're exercising. And tight hips can also mean that you overuse your spine or you put too much pressure on your spine. So tight hips can also lead to problems with your back, with back pain maybe. So if you suffer from back pain, which a lot of people do unfortunately, hip openers can be a great way to help ease this. And as we say with yin, we just take them to our own edge. They can help improve our range of motion and also help with our circulation as well. So just finding your edge with this one. Remember, if it becomes painful, backing off a little bit. Slowly coming back into an upright position, bringing our knees together, and we'll have another little windscreen wiper. We're planting our hands behind us, letting the legs fall to one side, looking over the opposite shoulder if you can. If there are neck issues, just keep the head looking forward. Remember, it's your practice. It's all about what feels good for you here. And coming back to center. We're going to work the hips in a different way in shoelace position next. Again, you may wish to sit on a cushion or a block. And we're going to start by bringing our legs out in front of us. We're going to bring our right leg over the top of our left. It may be enough for you to stay here. Or alternatively, bring the left leg behind you as well. Now in this position, you want to have equal weight on both of the sit bones. And again, we're going to fold forwards if that feels available to you. Just letting the head gently rest down. Coming back up into a seated position, extending the legs out in front and just giving them a little jiggle. Oh, that feels good. This time we're going to bring our left leg over the top. It may be enough for you to stay here and fold forwards, or you may wish to also bring the right leg underneath. Again, making sure that we're settled equally onto our hip bones and allow gravity to pull us forwards here. bringing yourself into an upright position and extending the legs in front of you, hands behind, just leaning back gently, opening our hearts up, and maybe a little jiggle of the legs. We're going to roll over into our front now, coming into our Sphinx position. Now we've got variations for coming into our Sphinx. Have a little wriggle from side to side just to help settle your hips comfortably. If you'd like to, you may want a rolled up blanket just under your sternum, or maybe even propping yourself up with a bolster if that helps. Or if you feel confident enough and have a strong enough core and spine, just resting on the forearms with the gentle back bent here, allowing the shoulders to drop away from the ears and the heart to open out. So this posture is great as both a back bend and our heart opener. And heart openers can be very beneficial to help correct our posture, to help reduce the slouching and slumping that we can do if we're sitting at a desk for prolonged periods, or maybe sitting on a long commute. I know those things are a bit of a distant memory at the moment, but opening up like this in poses such as Sphinx and Seal really help to open up our heart. So from our Sphinx, gently lowering down, we're going to tuck our toes, plant our hands under our shoulders, and come up whichever way feels good for you into a downward facing dog. The perfect counter pose for our Sphinx. We can walk through the heels if we want, sway gently from side to side, or maybe come up on the toes and push them back down before lowering our heels and coming into a kneeling position. Our next pose is going to be melting heart anahata pose. So it really is a beautiful pose where we open up the back of the heart. So coming up onto a tabletop position, the hips are going to stay high as we come down onto our forearms and allow the heart to melt towards the floor. The arms can be straight out or they can form a pillow under the head. We've got that lovely bend in the back. in our Anahata, open heart pose. Heart opening poses are great in yoga because they help us to expand our sternum and our rib cage and the rest of our upper body, really. The more blood and oxygen and circulation that we have going in our circulation, can really help to invigorate you mentally and physically. So heart opening poses are great, they feel great, and they're really good for you on all different levels. And when we open up our hearts, we can feel love and compassion and kindness. We allow ourselves to feel open and free to be happy, free to exist, and just generally free to show the world your beautiful light. Resting up onto all fours, and I'm going to come to rest in a prone position, lying flat on our tummies. We're going to bend the left knee in at 45 degrees, bend the left arm in at 45 degrees as well, and turn our head to the left. The right arm and right leg are stretched out in a beautiful counter pose, flapping fish. Again, just noticing any release in tension which you may have felt. And just coming back to that prone position. And then we're going to roll over onto our backs. From here, our feet are going to be flat on the floor. Arms are going to be out at 90 degrees, coming out to either side of the body. We're going to allow the knees to drop over to the left-hand side. If they don't go all the way down to the floor, feel free to use a block to support them, and turn the head to look over the right shoulder. If you've got any issues with the shoulders, the right arm can come a little closer, and if you want more of a stretch, the left hand can go on top of the right knee. into our beautiful supine twist, opening up through the heart and stretching on the outside of our hips. So from your reclined twist, release the hands if you're holding the knees. Allow the knees to roll back up to center, the head to come back to center, and we're going to hug our knees in towards our chest, or if it feels better for you, widening the legs, putting the knees in towards the armpits. Allowing the feet to rest on the floor again, arms back out in that T shape, and this time the knees drop to the right hand side. If you want to put the right hand on top of the left knee, you may. Turn the head to the left side if that's available to you. Remember, if it's too tight on the shoulders, the left arm can come in a little closer to the body. So opening up our heart again in this position. Our heart pumps blood to the entire body. And while it maintains our physical bodies, our emotions, both negative and positive, also reside there. So whether we feel happiness, sadness, joy, sorrow, grief, or love, we feel it in our hearts. And our bodies store these emotions. So heart opening yoga poses, such as the one that we're in now, can really help to release any of these emotions which we're storing up inside of us. Again, releasing if we're holding the knees down, allowing the body to return to center. And again, hugging the knees into the chest. If you want to, taking a little rock from side to side, just releasing any tension which may have built in the lower back. And put our hands just behind the creases of our knee and a little bit of momentum to rock ourselves up into a seated position. So for our final yin pose today, we're going to come into our legs up the wall position. This is a great one for if there are any back or neck issues, or if it's your moon wink, this is always a really good option that you can take. So hopefully you've got a wall nearby or a wall that you can shuffle into position to. And we're going to come up so that we are parallel to the wall, which we're going to be using to support us. We're then going to lie back, and as we lie back, rotate our bodies round so that our bottom is close to the wall. Shuffle a little bit closer to the wall and allow your legs literally to come up to the wall. Now, this isn't a true inversion because our hips are on top of our heart, but this may be enough for you. It is allowing some blood to flow in the direction of the heart. If you want to, you could use a block underneath your bottom just to raise you up. But personally, I like to do it with my lovely bolster. So just pulling that into position, which allows our hips to rise up a little bit and our legs to raise up the wall. So to come out of this position, if you have got something under your pelvis, just use your feet against the wall to raise yourself up and then slowly lower down. Allow the legs to come into the body and hug them in, again into our folded position. And now making your way onto your mat and settling in Shavasana, ready for our meditation section. So if you want to grab any pillows or blankets or an extra jumper, then just get yourself settled comfortably on the mat. And today I've got a beautiful loving kindness meditation for you. So here is our loving kindness meditation. Become comfortable where you are. Gently close your eyes, settling into awareness of the body and the breath. Just feel into your body right now and notice what's happening. Open to whatever you're experiencing in your body in this moment. Connecting to the breath and noticing the wave-like movements of the belly. In this practice, we will be cultivating loving kindness. We all have within us this natural capacity for loving kindness, or a friendship even, which is unconditional and open. It's gentle and it is supportive. Loving kindness is the natural opening of a compassionate heart, opening our heart to ourselves and to others. And it's a wish that everybody can be happy. We're going to begin by developing loving kindness towards ourselves, allowing our hearts to open with tenderness and allowing ourselves to remember and open up to our basic goodness. Try to remember a time when you have been kind or generous. And now, recalling your natural desire to be happy and free from any suffering. If you are finding acknowledging your own goodness difficult, try to look at yourself through the eyes of someone who loves you. What is it that this person loves about you? Maybe you've been fortunate to have a beloved pet in your life. How does that unconditional love feel from a pet? And allow these feelings of tender, loving kindness to flow more easily now through you. And as you're experiencing this love, notice how your body feels now. Maybe you feel some warmth or some heat in the face, maybe. Maybe you're smiling. Maybe you feel a sense of expansiveness. And this is our feeling of loving kindness, a beautiful natural feeling which is available to all of us, always. And let's rest with this beautiful feeling of open, unconditional love for a few minutes. Let yourself bask in the energy of loving kindness, breathing it in and breathing it out, inviting these wonderful feelings of peace and acceptance into our bodies. And we begin now to wish yourself well by extending words of loving kindness to yourself. I'm going to say some phrases that you may wish to repeat to yourself in your mind. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in loving kindness. May I feel calm and connected. May I accept myself just as I am. May I be happy. May I know the natural joy of being alive. And now repeating in your mind these same words of friendship and kindness to yourself once again. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in loving kindness. May I feel calm and connected. May I accept myself just as I am. May I be happy. May I know the natural joy of being alive. And now we're going to open our circle of loving kindness by bringing to mind someone who is dear to you, someone who you care deeply about, who is always supportive. Take a moment to reflect on this person's basic goodness, sensing what in particular it is that you love about him or her. And in your heart, feel your appreciation for this dear loved one as we begin our simple offering. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in loving kindness. May you feel calm and connected. May you accept yourself just as you are. May you be happy. May you know the natural joy of being alive. And now bring to mind a neutral person. This is someone who you see regularly, but don't really know that well. It may be a neighbour, a shop worker, someone you see in passing at work maybe. Bring this person to mind now, and again, repeat in your mind these words of loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in loving kindness. May you feel calm and connected. May you accept yourself just as you are. May you be happy. May you know the natural joy of being alive. And now, if it's possible for you, bring to mind someone who you've had a difficult relationship with. Perhaps it's someone who you don't feel sympathy or compassion for. And see if it is possible to let go of these feelings of resentment and dislike for this person. Remind yourself to try and see this person as a whole being who is deserving of love and kindness. See this person as someone who feels pain, who suffers from anxiety, someone who suffers. And let's now extend words of loving kindness to this person in our mind. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in loving kindness. May you feel calm and connected. May you accept yourself just as you are. And may you be happy. And now we'll allow our awareness to open out in all directions. To yourself, to a dear one, to a neutral person, to a difficult person, to all beings, humans and animals, living everywhere, whether they're living in richness or in poverty, in peace or in war, in hunger or in abundance, aware of all the joys and the sorrows that beings experience. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken and be free. May all beings be happy. And now bringing this practice of loving kindness to a close by extending kindness once more to yourselves. Relax here for a while. Bask in the energy of loving kindness that we have generated together here. And allow that to travel forwards with you throughout the rest of your day. Namaste.